Hey guys, this is your pal EMDSD14R coming to you live from the Keystone State. It's been a while since I made any types of videos regarding model trains. I've been very busy with my life lately, but I decided to make a cool video today. I'm going to show you guys how to re-decal a Kato baggage car. Now, I've already re-decaled one, as you guys can see here. And I've always wanted these in Phase 3, but Kato actually never made them in Phase 3. So, I'm going to be doing that for you guys today. You will need some supplies, so obviously your regular Q-tips, and a lot of them, because you will be reusing or using both ends of them, so you will need to get a clean one afterwards. Paper towels, just your regular paper towels, nothing special, nothing fancy. Obviously you need the Kato baggage car, and you need your 70% isopropylene alcohol, or 90% will work, whichever you prefer. And then your decal set is going to be the Amtrak Amfleet Passenger Cars 1987 to 1996. So let me show you what that looks like. So that decal set basically looks like this. And it actually has decals for the Metroliner cab car, so if you wanted to make a cab car, you can actually use this decal set. I used most of the stripes on there, so I got another stripe set. This is a different set altogether, but let me just make sure I have all of them. Yep, I got all the decals. So those are the decals you will be needing. And then for the actual decals, you will need a small brush, like a painter's brush, two jars of water, one to clean your brush off, one to put the decals in. Let me see. You'll need your micro set, your micro saw, and then you'll need your micro flat. So yeah, micro saw, or micro set, micro saw, and micro flat. So you will need all these later down the road. But yeah, enough of me blabbing. What else would you need? I think that's it. You can wear goggles if you want to, but you shouldn't really need goggles because you're not going to be splashing anything around. But let's get started. So, I basically do that. And then you basically just come in and you just start rubbing on the model like so. And generally I use rubbing alcohol because it actually takes the Kato paint off quicker. You can technically use Goo Gone, but it takes a lot longer for it to work, and you have to scrub really, really, really hard, and I don't really want to do that. Now if you guys are looking and you can see, how quickly it actually starts to come off. And that's one of the reasons why I like using the regular Q-tips, is because it doesn't harm the model and it doesn't harm the paint, like the silver finish, I mean. But this is why you will need multiple Q-tips, because they get dirty so quickly. They just get dirty so quickly from rubbing all the paint off that you have to just reuse a new one. And you will need multiple. You'll need more than just what I have here. You'll probably need a lot more than that. I don't remember exactly how many, but just get 2 handfuls worth of Q-tips and just do it that way. So this one's obviously dirty. You can just discard that one and just reuse it again, or go on a new one, I should say. But yeah, that baggage car, that one I showed you previously, is actually the first Amtrak baggage car that I re-decaled. It's actually the first Amtrak car that I decaled. And you just want to keep rubbing until you don't see any more of the phase 4 markings. Some areas are a little tougher to get than others, but if you just get the Q-tip in there and just press hard, it's not going to hurt the model. But you just want to keep rubbing back and forth until it's completely gone. And even if there's just a little teeny bit there, it's not going to matter because it's not going to be visible. Under the new decal anyway. Now some people, some modelers that I know, they actually paint. They paint the models. Like they actually will mask off the model and paint each individual stripe. I don't do that because first off, I don't have the paint to do it, and secondly, I don't have the skills to do that, and I don't have the patience. So I just use the decals. Maybe one day I'll have the patience, but I just don't have it today. Okay, and what you can also do once you get the area, what you can do next is once you get one area cleaned off, you can just use your Q-tip to just clean up the area and get any residual out of the way. Or you could just use your trusty paper towel. Just wipe the excess away. It's not that hard. And this is what it looks like. So once you clean up the area, that's what it'll look like without the phase 4 there. And you're going to do this for the entire car. So both sides of the car, you will do that. Yeah, I usually start on the ends first because that's the least amount of distance you have to worry about. So that's what I usually do. It's a lot easier to just do the ends of the car first as opposed to just doing the middle section. And it doesn't matter if you get the area soaked. The more soaked it is, the better, because then it starts to remove the paint a lot quicker. And see, on this end, I'm pressing a little harder because I don't really, want to waste time just, taking it slowly, and, it's not going to hurt the model or anything. But yeah, you can see how quickly, just by using a regular Q-tip and rubbing alcohol, it cleans off the model, as you guys can see. So I need to change this Q-tip out because it's filthy. So I'll switch this one out. Now the cars that I'm doing, they're technically not prototypical, in the fact that there's an Amtrak logo on each end. That's not prototypically accurate. I chose it to do it that way because I didn't want to have to, figure out where the Amtrak logo should be centered there in the middle. I didn't want to figure that out. And I like being different with my models, but keep it prototypical in a sense that it could have been made that way. Some people, they don't like that, but everybody has their own preference, and that's okay. I like mine, so you don't have to do it this way. If you want to do it prototypically correct, you can put the Amtrak logo right in the middle of the car, which is fine. You can still use this technique that I'm using here to remove the factory Kato paint and to install your decals. Just one thing in mind, this hobby is about creativity and sharing your skills. We all have something to contribute. Bashing another person because they didn't get something right or because they did something differently is not a cool thing to do. And if someone does something wrong, just say, hey, I think you made a mistake here, and I think you can do it this way. There's a right way to say something, and then there's a wrong way to say something. And a lot of times when I see people criticize a perfectly good model based on one little flaw that someone did, or this isn't accurate because this detail's on there. It's like, okay, there's a reason probably behind that. Maybe they didn't know, or maybe they like it like that. Just don't bash the person because it doesn't look like something you would want to do. Keep in mind, never let anyone tell you you can't do something. Because if you let people talk to you like that, you'll never get anything accomplished. If you have a dream, chase it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Alright, so let me clean this area up. So there's the other end, right here. So that's what the whole car is going to look like once I get both sides done. So you guys have already seen the process as to how to remove the decal, remove the factory Kato printing, because this is actually like a stamp printed thing. I'm not going to show you how to do that on the other side because it's the same process. So I'm just going to remove everything off this car, and I'm just going to jump ahead to the decal part. So when I show the next clip, the car will be finished and we'll be moving on to the decals. I'm also going to leave the red stripe at the bottom because I just want to leave it. It's not something I want to remove. So be right back, y'all. I've been doing some tweaking with my decals. So what I usually do with these decal sets is I usually overlap them. So let me zoom in right here. So if you can see, right here, me move it this way. So if you can see right here, I overlap the decals just so that I can fit these, you know, have enough to cover the end of the car. And they actually do come with sets right here. Let me see if I can move that further into the screen. They actually do come with sets right here, like little cutoffs here, so you can get like a clean end on the car. I found out that I don't know if I'll have enough to finish this whole car. So I don't know if I'll have enough decal striping left to do this whole car. I'm going to see if I have it. If not, I have to order another set, and then I'm going to have to wait to finish this car. But at least I'll get one side of the car done so you guys get the general idea as to what you need to do to decal these, re-decal these Kato cars. So, yeah, before you actually do anything else, make sure that you test fit your placement of your decals. That way, you know, you don't start putting them on and then they don't fit right, and then you have an issue with that. So what I usually do is I usually start with where the logo is. So the logo is right here. Let me zoom in on that. So the logo is right here. So I usually start with this end because I think it's easier for me. And then I go this way. So I basically start from the outside of the door towards the end of the car. And it's just a smaller area for me to work with, and I like doing that. So what I'm going to do now is get that process started. So taking my decal, and my decals, and I'm just moving them over here. The other ones I can just put to the side or where I need them. But make sure you keep them in order so that you don't mix them up. And make sure that your area is like thoroughly clean of any debris, because you don't want that getting under your decal and messing it up. So just take your Q-tip, like a spare Q-tip, and just clean the area thoroughly. And then you're going to get your two containers of water out. One's for the decal and the other is to clean your brush, because you're going to need to use your brush for the micro saw, the micro set, or the micro set, the micro saw, and the micro flat. And you can't really mix the chemicals together because then that'll mess everything up. So you will periodically need to clean your brush. So let me zoom in a little bit, or zoom out of that. So to apply your decals, where is it? Use your micro set. That's what you use to apply your decals. That's what you need it for. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you will need some type of tweezers to pick your decals out of the water. So just get your standard tweezers or your hobby tweezers. Either one is fine. So let me zoom back a little bit. And what I do is I wet my brush first, and then I dip it in the micro saw. Let me zoom in closer so you guys can see this, because I think that should be fine. Yeah, I think that would be fine. You guys can see. So what I do is I just dip my brush in there, and the area that I'm generally going to be putting it in, I just saturate it. It's okay if you saturate it because that's where the decal is going to go. The more saturation, the better. It gives you a little bit more play with the decal when you start finalizing its position. Then I'm taking my tweezer. I got another tweezer here. Got my tweezer here. So I'm going to dip this in water, and I'd say 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20 is a good number for the decal to actually get soft enough to remove from the paper. And I just usually just hold it in the water, and then I dip it on a paper towel, then I clean it off with a Q-tip. and then I just slip it on the model like that, and you guys will see that. If your microstar starts to dry on the model, you can always periodically just re-wet it, just so that it stays moist, because you don't want to set the decal on there and it's completely dry and the decal's not in the position you want it, and then you really can't move it because it's dry, and then you'll end up ripping the decal, which I have done on a few occasions, and it's not fun. I usually just take my finger and slide the decal off. And as you can see, it just slides right off. So now what I can do is I can apply it to my model. And because it's still wet here, I can get it situated where I want it. And then once I'm satisfied with it, which I think that's a good position, there we go. So once I'm satisfied with it, I can take, what I usually do is I take a paper towel and I fold it like this, and then I take I make it like a flat end like this. So I make it flat like this, and I just gently dab on the model. And if I need to change the position of the decal, I can, because it's still wet enough that I can move it, but not to the point where I can, rip it apart or anything. And then if you still have like your decal paper and it's starting to like rise up towards the corner, you can just take it and then just press the corner down, because the paper is still moist. So you can just press that corner down, that way you don't have any curved edges near your door. And that's actually the position I wanted it in. Looks very good. So I dabbed it already. And make sure when you dab it, you don't dab it too hard, because you can shift the decal. Just make sure you dab it sparingly, and to the point where there's no air bubbles either. You don't want air bubbles. Alright, so I don't see any forming there. And if you do get air bubbles, just pop them out with your X-Acto knife. This end is a little rising up right here in the corner. There we go. Okay, so the next order of business is to do the other decal. Oh, wait. Well, before that, you got to reapply your micro set, because you got to cover this area too. And when you use your micro set, you want to put it on the end of the decal you already placed, because you're going to be overlapping this here. Because you want it to look like it's one complete stripe. Otherwise, it's going to look like two separate stripes, and you don't want that. And if you put a little too much, you can just take your Q-tip and just, dab it up just a little bit. Or I would say paper towel, because you don't want those little filaments from the Q-tip under your decal. Now sometimes when the decal's not ready, it's a little tougher to get it off the paper. Just take your time and don't try to rip it off. There you go. So now I'm going to apply it here. key thing is when you overlap, you want to make sure that the stripes match. Because if you don't, it's going to look really, really, really tacky. Apparently the other decal underneath wasn't completely set. There you go. And then just take your micro set and just gently rub over the decal, especially over the area that you just overlapped. Not too much though, because you don't want to move the decal. And then take your paper towel and dab up sparingly. And that's what it's supposed to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back and use the micro saw, which allows your decal to soften and conform to the model. And then once that's done, I'll move on to the micro flat. But before you use the micro saw, clean your brush off in the water, so you don't mix the chemicals together. Okay guys, I'm back, and as you can see, I got one side of the car done. So the other side still needs to be finished, but I don't need to show that process because I already showed you guys how to do one side of the car. I put the micro saw on it, obviously. The last thing I need to do for that one side is to put the micro set, or the micro flat. So the last thing I need to do is put the micro flat on that side, and that side will be finished. So I hope you guys enjoyed this how-to video. I hope it was very helpful and insightful. You guys be cool, God bless, and take care. Bye, y'all.